It's the Daily Doug.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Doug. Thanks for being with me today. My friends, we're starting a new week here on the channel. It's a Monday, and I'm happy that you're with me because we're making it, as usual, a metal Monday. But it's even better than that, y'all. Today, it's a Maiden Monday. We're going back to the boys in Iron Maiden, and I'm pumped for this, y'all. Up the irons. I've got more stuff to do. I've got unfinished work with Iron Maiden because about a month ago, we heard side one from Iron Maiden's fifth album called Powerslave, and I very much enjoyed it. It was the first time that I had heard any of those songs from side one, and that includes Aces High and 2 Minutes to Midnight. I thought it was a great side, and I very much enjoyed reviewing that one for all of you, but sadly it got blocked on YouTube. A couple weeks after we released it, it got blocked on YouTube, but I've made it available on my Patreon if you want to take a look at that one, y'all. And it's available on my Patreon without a paywall. Just become a member for free, and you can see that video and see what I thought of those songs. So I thought for a minute, you know, with that block that happened on side one, I thought for a minute about not completing my whole album review of Powerslave. But then I saw that this side 2, includes the title track and Rime of the Ancient Mariner. I thought, I gotta get to it. I gotta do it. No matter if we get blocked or not, I gotta do that one because, as you recall, I've heard Powerslave, the title track, and Rime of the Ancient Mariner before, but both times that I heard them on the channel, I was listening to and watching live recordings. So I've never heard the studio tracks of Powerslave or Rime of the Ancient Mariner. So I'm excited to get to side 2 of this classic album today. As a reminder, Powerslave came out in 1984. It was their 5th album, and the band was flying pretty high after some success with Peace of Mind and with The Number of the Beast and with the tours that they had done in support of those albums. And here for Powerslave, we get every member of the band back for a second straight album for the first time in the band's career. So they're hitting their stride, and I want to see what this is all about, friends. So let's strap in and get to it. We've got Bruce Dickinson on the vocals. Dave Murray and Adrian Smith are on the guitars. Steve Harris is on the bass, and Nico McBrain is on the drums. So first up is a song called Back in the Village, and this is one that I don't know anything about. Apparently, this song was inspired by the British television show called The Prisoner, as was their song The Prisoner from The Number of the Beast, and I don't think I've heard that one, y'all. So I don't know the television show or the original song that this kind of is a companion to, or this one, hearing it for the first time. And the village in this song, as I read in, is the same one that's referenced in their song, The Prisoner, where this village seems idyllic, but it's actually a place for some bad stuff, some government-led brainwashing and psychological torment. So it should be just a toe tapper, y'all. Let's see what they've got for us as we start off side 2 of Powerslave. It's Back in the Village from Iron Maiden. Off we go. Okay, big riff. Boom, that's an A. Woo. No. Okay. So there it is. Their favorite cadence, flat 6 to flat 7 to 1. That's an F, a G to an A. Cool. Upward. There's a B flat and B. Back to A. they moved to D, which was the 4 of where we originally were. Back to A. He sees sixes all the way. It's time to go to the casino. C sharp, D, that's pretty cool. Down to B flat, D, then back to A. I love that middle section. Woo! Well, that riff is just unrelenting, isn't it? So they go to the 4, and then do flat 6 to that, and then move up by half steps before they go back to where they started. Some double leads. I like it. Pretty cool. I like that progression. So much energy in the rhythm section of this band, y'all. They get going. You can't help but have really iconic solos, right? Steve and Nico are back there going, just driving the bus. There's a fox among the chickens and a killer in the hounds. Shell shock in the kitchen, tables start to burn. So they're realizing this village is not quite the retirement, idyllic place to be. Up a step. So there's an E. I don't have a number, I'm a name. Shit. Banger, y'all, to start off this side of the album. That is definitely not a fade out. I love it when bands figure out a way to end their songs instead of just letting them fizzle, right? Because if you figure out how you're going to end a song when you're doing the studio version of it, you don't have to figure it out when you take it out on tour, you know? Because it's hard to do a fade out when you're on tour, when you're live in front of people. That's not easy to do efficiently, right? That was cool. Back in the Village. Loved it. A great way to start off the album. But I am interested to move on to Powerslave. Like I told y'all, I first heard this in episode 296. That was in December of 2021. So it's been quite some time since I heard this. And I heard the live version from their Live After Death tour. So this is my first time hearing the studio version of this. It's a story of an Egyptian pharaoh who is on his deathbed. He's a power-hungry Egyptian Pharaoh. And as I remember, and as I'm reading in on the lyrics here, he learns that in his mortality, his people aren't a slave to his power. Rather, he's a slave to the power of death. And yeah, aren't we all? Right? So let's see what this song sounds like. I'll be very interested to see what I remember, because I didn't go back and retouch on this to make myself aware of this again. I'm going to just do it kind of blind and see what I remember, and let's take it, y'all. Here is the title track, Powerslave, from Iron Maiden. Off we go. They have werewolves in Egypt. Okay. It's an A again. I think they go up to the 4 and then the flat 2. This. I remember the chorus, but I like the backing vocals. They're there a little bit more than I remember. Steve Harris on the bass, y'all. Unbelievable player. Living this life, fear was my game. People would worship and fall, drop to their knees. So bring me the blood and red wine for the one to succeed me, for he is a man and a god, and he will die too. There's that move. That's cool. So they stay in E. There's flat 6, flat 7 to 1 in E, which is the 5th of where we started. And in my last hour, I'm a slave to the power of death. Step from A, so that's a B. Nice. Nice structure in these songs. And again, I'm drawn to Steve's bass playing. Halftime. Nice. Nice. Great solo. So that's a B, down to A, down to G, flat 6. Woo! Okay. Back into tempo. Different guitarist? Not sure. The guitars are doing double leads, but it's Steve's bass that's stealing the show for me. Get back to A. Nice. It's got a little bit of that harmonic scale passage to it, right? With the flat 2 in there as well. So he's dead now, but he's still asserting his power. But open the gates of hell, I'll strike from the grave. Life giver dies, all around is laid waste, and in my last hour I am a slave to the power of death. Cool song. And you learn a little bit about history. That's a high note, Bruce. Going to end it in E, like an E major, like a dominant half cadence. I don't remember as much as I should about the original, except for maybe Bruce wearing that mask, the headdress or whatever he was wearing, and other than that, it was just a real pleasure to be reintroduced to that song. I thought it was great. They've got different types of scales going on, and they started in A, they were around in E for a bit, and really great bass work, and everybody was on point. Just cool, right? I understand, friends. You heard this and you're like, rock and roll. So we got to get to the last song. It's Rime of the Ancient Mariner. And this is a long time coming, y'all. It's June of 2024. This was my second reaction ever to music. Episode 46, back in January of 2021. My first reaction was to Iron Maiden's Fear of the Dark, and this one followed a few days later because a bunch of people in the comments said, you got to do Rime of the Ancient Mariner, now. So that's what I did. And when I reviewed this song, it was that live version from the Flight 666 DVD. And so, again, this is going to be my first time hearing the studio version, and I can't wait to do it, y'all. A little bit of background, though. This is the band doing a retelling of the tale of the Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, which was written back in the late 18th century. So we're talking the late 1700s. Y'all, the tale itself was inspired by the explorations of Captain James Cook, whose exploits took him to the Virgin Islands as well as several other locales. So for this song, they adapted the really long ballad structure of that original poem, and they even kept a few lines from the original story in the lyrics. And for a long time, this was the band's longest song that was in their discography. It wasn't until Empire of the Clouds that this was that was no longer their longest tune, but it is quite a lengthy one, and about the only thing that I really remember from this one was being wowed by the augmented chords in the middle section. So I'll be really eager to hear that again and to hear the whole thing again for the first time in a few years, y'all. So let's get to it. The studio version of Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Iron Maiden. Off we go. Okay. They're always nice. They're always doing music that just invites you into the carriage with them as we're just going down and enjoying some music together. This one's an E. E minor. Caught by his spell, and the mariner tails his tail. The ship sails on back through the fog and ice, and the albatross follows on. Relative major. Back to E minor. Six, seven,
The mariner kills the bird of good omen. His shipmates cry against what he's done.
well, that's not good if you go against a good omen.
They justify it and make themselves a part of the cry. Sailing on and on and on across the sea. Sailing on and on till all is come.
Great singing.
The albatross begins with its
Albatross is gonna fight back. Curse.
His shipmates play bad luck on the mariner. About his neck, the dead body's hung, and the curse goes on
The curse goes on and on. They hung the bird around his neck.
and the verse goes on without the beat. Day after day, we stuck no with no motion. As idle as a painted ship upon a
I
painted
love the tempo of this, right in the heart, right in the pocket, you know.
Water, water everywhere, the ready drop to drink. Goes the mariner, there comes a ship on the lake.
Tempo change. That's true.
With no wind in her sails on no tide.
They're still in the same key.
Onward she nears, out of the sand. She has no crew. She has no life. Wait, but there's two. Infantry life and death, they throw their dice for the crew. She wings the mariner and he belongs to her now.
This is great, different section here.
Crew on my word.
We're into verse 7, by the way. There's a lot of words here.
200 men.
They crew one by one, they drop down dead. 200 men. She, life in death. She lets him live. They're chosen. New key. That was weird. That's an A. That's an E. So their home key, right? Bob is an F, G. Back to E before they went to F sharp, right in the middle. Flat 6. Leading tone to 1. What? How about that? I love this. Yeah. That's an augmented triad, y'all. To another one. I don't have my keyboard camera on. That's just so funky. There's not very many times that an augmented triad is common to the key, is diatonic. Most of the time it's a chromatic alteration.
One after one, by the star-darkened moon, too quick for groan or sigh, each turned his face with a ghastly bang, and cursed me with his eye.
Cursed me with his eye.
4 times 50 living
4
men,
times 50
life
living
no
men.
sigh nor groan. With heavy thump, the lifeless lump, they dropped down.
They drop down one by one. That's in quotes. I think that's from the original text. Really effective. Has that foggy, sort of misty, eerie, at sea, kind of lost feel to it. There's the creeks. That's just a minor chord. So is that. Okay. Something new.
The cursed lamps on in
Viva Sol.
the mariner he wished he died.
It's a D major chord.
Along with the sea creatures, but they lived on, so did he. And by the light of the moon,
So what is happening
he
here?
prays for their beauty not doomed.
But they lived on, so did he.
Blesses them, God's
With heart he
creatures,
blesses them, God's creatures, all of them too. The spell is starting to break, so I think that's what we get from these major chords here.
The albatross falls from his neck,
Okay.
sinks down like lead into the sea. Then down and forth comes the
Here comes the rain. That was effective. To get back into this tempo, y'all. may be one of my absolute favorites from them. It's got everything you want in it. That's interesting. Woo! And that gets him into it. Back to the original tempo. Revenge still is sought, penance starts again, cast into a trance, and the nightmare carries on. It's epic. It's an epic tune. It really, really is. Pilot's boat is coming towards him. His son and the hermit, Penance of Life, will fall onto him. Is it going to be a happy ending? And the ship, it sinks like lead into the sea. Mariner's bound to tell of his story, to tell this tale wherever he goes. Teach God's word by his own example, that we must love all things God made. Choice to end it vocally down instead of up, and that's the end of the album. What a journey that was. Exciting, isn't it? I mean, it's good. It's good. It's iconic in concert, right? But it's always good to go back to these studio versions to be reminded of what they decided they wanted the song to sound like at the time. They've got all the tools available to them. They've got as many takes as they want to figure out how the vocals are going to be, how the percussion and the bass and the guitars and everything. And they end up with the sound of that song. I've been talking to other people recently about the differences between a classical composer and somebody like Steve Harris, who's writing this in a metal or rock and roll way. When I'm creating something, I'm creating the roadmap, the score, the musical score, with the bar lines and the meter signatures and the key signatures and the notes and all of that sort of stuff, so that other musicians may help it come to life in concert as I envisioned it happening, right? But the process is quite a bit different for people who are writing in bands and coming up with the recording. They're writing to the arrangement of the recording and how the piece sounds first. And then, most of the time, people can go in and say, oh, what did they decide on? How did they do all that? And then do a transcription and terse out the notation of what reflects what they did in the recording. The difference is me, I'm writing to the chart, whereas they're writing to the recording. And then after the chart comes the performance, and after the recording comes the chart. It's quite a different way to do things, right? But he's doing it in a way that narratively makes sense, especially here in that last song. What a great, great tune Rime of the Ancient Mariner is. It really, I think, is one of their crowning achievements. From all of the music that I've heard from them, it's pretty special. So there you go, friends. That is all of Powerslave. I'm happy that I went back and took a look at side 2 here. So the question that I have is, after 30-something videos over these past 3.5 years featuring music from Iron Maiden, it's the band that I've listened to more than any on the channel. What's next? What do I do next? I like catching up with these half-album listens, and I think I've now heard all of their debut album. I've now heard all of Powerslave, and I've heard all of Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. But I don't think I've heard all of any other of their albums. So I could go back to Killers, their second album. I don't think I've heard much of anything as I look through the tunes on that album. There's also The Number of the Beast, their third album. I've heard some from there. The Number of the Beast, Run to the Hills, and Hallowed Be Thy Name on side 2, but all of side 1 looks new to me. And as I look at it, I think I've only heard all of just these 3 albums from Iron Maiden, their debut one, Powerslave, and Seventh Son. So there's a lot more of music from Iron Maiden for us to return to in the coming months and years to come. Isn't there? That's good news for us. But I believe that's going to be all for today. What a way to start the week off, y'all. We got side 2 of Powerslave from Iron Maiden. I very much enjoyed this one. I hope you did as well. We got a lot more coming up this week, but I believe that is all for me today. Thanks, y'all, for being with me. We'll see you next time on another edition of The Daily Doug.